Chuck and Kelly, that New Jersey couple accused of pilfering a GoFundMe campaign meant to help a homeless vet will quite possibly be indicted for misuse of funds. And it brings up a lot of questions, legally speaking, about this case and GoFundMe endeavors in general. And we're joined by our legal analyst, Paul Harding from Martin Harding & Mazzotti. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
So let's talk first about this case. Couple, most people know the story now. Woman runs out of gas. Homeless guy gives her his last $20. She's so touched. They set up a GoFundMe page. They raised $400,000, and now the homeless guy's suing because he says this couple used a lot of that money. So, what are and then they actually put that money in their own personal checking account, I think. So what are the rules regarding GoFundMe and these kinds of fundraising efforts?
Well, once you decide you're going to take up some fundraising effort, whether it's something of this magnitude or you're going to go around and collect for the local VFW, you now have responsibilities. Those funds that you're collecting are not yours. They need to go to the intended recipient, and it can be a little tempting. In this case, they took the money, they converted it to their own account, which was the first thing that one shouldn't do. And now this civil case that was by Mr. Bobbitt, the veteran, the homeless veteran, was going forward. Word got out that the money's not there. Now the police have raided. Indictment soon.
All right, so let's say they were well-intentioned, and it sounds like they were initially, that they were trying to help this guy. They set up the GoFundMe page, and then they weren't happy with the way he was spending the money on drugs or whatnot. So if you set up a page like this, do you have any right to say how the intended recipient is spending the money?
Yeah, you really don't. So once you do this, that person's going to get the money unless you can show that the individual you're raising the money for somehow was doing something fraudulent. Now, having an addiction, she claims that they claim that there is a heroin addiction, and that they claim that they didn't want to give the money to him because he could even hurt himself. I mean, it's valid, but that's real sticky stuff, So to the point where once you do this, that money just has to convert to the group unless you can show fraud.
What should they have done? I mean, should they have, you start this thing, $400,000 comes in. Do you set up a separate account, and who would be in charge of that separate account?
Well, normally it would just go right to the recipient. But here, if we find someone who's maybe unable to, it could have been through an injury, or in this case, maybe an addiction, they now could go to a lawyer and try to set up some type of supplemental needs trust, some type that would require the recipient to then go to the trustee and say, listen, I need the money for these things, and the trustee could do that. Super complicated. I don't know if it's ever happened in GoFundMe, but it happens all the time when people are given money and can't handle it.
So for the people out there, and we see Kelly and I talk about stories all the time, a lot of them locally, for all sorts of causes. For people setting up a GoFundMe for someone and people who are potential recipients of GoFundMe money, what should they need to know as far as the rules are concerned, so they don't get into any trouble at all?
Well, they need to just, it's a great thing, and 99.9% of these things are done just out of love, and I think this one may have started that way. Mm-hmm. But here, when you go ahead and raise the money, you have to know that you can never convert it to any of your own. You really can't even be making a lot of decisions. All you've done is said, I've seen someone who has a need, and if you want to give some money to it, please do. It's going directly to them.
And if you donate, there's really no guarantee, is there, that your money will get to the person?
Well, GoFundMe has what they call the GoFundMe. If you can show that there was any type of misuse of the money, GoFundMe will refund each donor up to $1,000, and each beneficiary, if the money's not given them, up to $25,000. In this case, the numbers are much bigger, and GoFundMe has said they are going to make good on this for the beneficiary.
So the bottom line is, even though these people may have been well-intentioned setting it up, the fact that they may have been the administrators of the account, they took the money out thinking that it was within their right, but because they spent it, that's theft.
That's theft. That's embezzlement. Again, they're trusted with some money that they now have converted to their own use, and they are just going to get in all sorts of trouble criminally. And again, whether it's one or both of them, we'll soon see. I suspect something within the next 2 days.
All right, we'll keep tabs of that. Paul Harding, Martin Harding & Mazzotti, 1-800-LAW-1010. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, guys.